Atomic Habits. James Clear, extensive and detailed explanation. The book Atomic Habits is considered one of the most influential books in the field of self-development, as James Clear explains how small changes can lead to huge results over time. The basic idea is that improving 1% every day may seem small, but with repetition and accumulation leads to a huge change in your life. Why are small habits important? Most people think that success or failure comes as a result of big decisions or sudden changes. But in fact, our lives are the result of the habits we make every day. Habits are what shape our identity, and they determine our long-term achievements. Good habits lead you to success without much effort. Bad habits drag you to failure without you even realizing it. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is not in the goals they set, but in the systems and habits they adhere to every day. How are habits formed? Habits don't just appear, they form through a repetitive cycle that consists of 4 stages. 1. Cue. These are the stimuli that prompt you to perform the habit. The cue can be internal, such as feeling stressed, or external, such as seeing a piece of chocolate. Once your brain is exposed to this cue, it begins to anticipate the habit associated with it. For example, if you are used to drinking coffee every morning, the sight or smell of the coffee machine is the cue that motivates you. 2. Craving. After you see the cue, you feel the desire to perform the habit. This desire is not related to the action itself, but to the reward that you will get after it. For example, when you see coffee, you don't crave the coffee itself, but rather the energy and focus that you will get after drinking it. 3. Response. The response is the actual habit that you are performing. The easier the habit, the more likely you are to perform it, and the more difficult it is, the more likely you are to ignore it. Example: if you are in a hurry, you may not make coffee because it takes effort and time. But if the coffee machine is ready and the button is pressed, you are more likely to drink it every day. 4. Reward. A reward is the positive result you get from a habit, and it is the reason you continue to do it. Example: after drinking coffee, you feel energetic and focused, which reinforces your desire to repeat the habit the next day. How do we build good habits? To make good habits a part of your life, you must make each step in the habit cycle more effective. James Clear explains 4 rules for building good habits in an easy and sustainable way. 1. Make the habit clear. If you want to build a new habit, make it clear and easy to remember. Some effective ways to do this. Set a time and place to implement the habit. Instead of saying, "I will exercise more," say, "I will exercise for 30 minutes at the gym at 6 a.m. Use the habit stacking rule. This rule means that you associate the new habit with an old habit you already have. Example: after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will read 10 pages of a book. Change your environment to make the habit more noticeable. If you want to read more, put a book next to your bed. If you want to eat healthy, put fruit on the table instead of sweets. 2. Make the habit attractive. If a habit isn't fun, it's hard to stick with it. To make the habit more attractive, tie it to something you love. Example: listen to your favorite music while you exercise. Change your perspective on the habit. Instead of saying, "I have to exercise," say, "I'm an athletic person and I like to take care of my body." Create an environment that motivates you. If you want to learn a new language, join a community that speaks it, or follow content in that language. 3. Make the habit easy. A habit that requires a lot of effort is unlikely to stick, so make it simple and easy to do. Start with very small steps. If you want to start reading, read just 1 page a day, then gradually increase it. Minimize the friction between you and the habit. If you want to exercise, prepare your workout clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthy, make healthy food available and accessible. Use the 2-minute rule. Start your new habit with an action that takes just 2 minutes. For example, instead of "I will read 30 pages a day," start with "I will read just 1 page." Often, once you start, you will complete more. 4. Make the habit rewarding. In order for a habit to stick, you need to get a quick reward after you do it. Habits that give long-term results, like exercise or saving, are often harder to stick to because they don't give immediate rewards. But you can motivate yourself with some strategies. Use habit tracking. Put a check mark on your calendar after each day you do the habit. Seeing your progress motivates you to continue. Reward yourself immediately after performing the habit. After finishing the exercise, take a refreshing shower or watch an episode of your favorite series. Don't break the chain. If you miss a day, don't allow yourself to miss 2 days in a row. How to get rid of bad habits. Just as we can build good habits, we can also get rid of bad habits using the 4 laws. But in reverse. 1. Make the habit invisible. If you want to reduce your phone use, put it away while you work. Key 2. Make it unattractive. Focus on the negatives resulting from the bad habit rather than its temporary benefits. 3. Make it difficult. Delete social media apps or put a long password that prevents you from opening them easily. 4. Make it unsatisfying. Make there are penalties for doing the bad habit, such as losing an amount of money if you do not stick to the exercise plan. Conclusion. Small habits may seem unimportant now, but they shape your future. Don't underestimate small changes. Over time, these small changes will become part of you and lead you to success or failure. You don't need to change your life. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear uses many true stories to illustrate how small habits can make or break a success. These stories show how small, consistent changes can lead to unexpected and surprising results. 1. The British cycling team. How they changed their future with small improvements. The problem. For over 100 years, the British cycling team had been a disaster. No British cyclist had won the Tour de France, and the team had no notable success in international racing. In fact, their performance was so bad that bike manufacturers would refuse to sell them equipment, fearing that their association with the team would damage their product's reputation. The change. In 2003, Dave Brailsford was appointed as the team's new manager. He had a unique strategy known as the 1% improvement principle, which involved making very small improvements to each element of performance, so that these small improvements would add up over time and make a huge difference. The team started with very simple modifications, such as each 1. Improving the rider's clothing, choosing fabrics that help reduce air resistance. 2. Adjusting the bike seats, improving the sitting position for better comfort and performance. 3. Choosing better tires, changing the type of tires and using lighter materials. 4. Improving the surrounding environment, painting the walls of the workshop white to detect any dust particles that could affect the performance of the bikes. 5. Improving sleep and recovery. They tested different types of mattresses and pillows, then chose the best one for each rider to ensure optimal sleep. 6. Improving hygiene. They distributed hand sanitizers to the team to reduce the incidence of illness, which helped them avoid colds that could affect performance. The results? These changes were not revolutionary on their own, but when combined, they achieved amazing results in just 5 years. In 2008, the team won 60% of the cycling medals at the Beijing Olympics. In 2012, they won 70% of the medals at the London Olympics. In 2012, Briton Bradley Wiggins became the first Briton to win the Tour de France, followed by Briton Chris Froome, who won the race 4 times. Between 2012 and 2017, the team won 5 of the 6 Tour de France's. Lessons learned. Small improvements may seem insignificant at first, but they add up over time and make a huge difference. Paying attention to small details can lead to amazing results in the long run. Good habits don't require radical changes, but rather small, continuous improvements. 2. The story of the doctor who saved thousands of lives with a simple habit. The problem. In the 19th century, women's death rates after childbirth were very high in European hospitals due to puerperal fever, the cause of which doctors did not know at the time. There was a significant difference in mortality rates between 2 different wards in the hospital, which piqued the curiosity of Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis. Discovery. Semmelweis noticed that the ward staffed by doctors and students had much higher mortality rates than the ward run by midwives, nurses specializing in childbirth. After investigating, he discovered that doctors and students were performing autopsies and then proceeding directly to examining pregnant women without washing their hands. Midwives did not perform such procedures. Change. Semmelweis decided to impose hand washing with a disinfectant solution before examining patients, which was unusual at the time. Results: mortality rates dropped from 18% to less than 2% in a very short period. Despite the tremendous success, the medical community did not initially accept his idea, and hospitals refused to implement it for years. Decades later, hand washing became a staple of modern medicine, saving millions of lives around the world. Lessons learned: a simple habit like washing your hands can make a huge difference in life and society. Small changes may face resistance at first, but they eventually prove effective. Improving the environment and removing harmful factors can be just as important as building good habits. 3. The story of the writer who committed to writing for 200 consecutive days. The problem? American writer Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most famous comedians in the world, had difficulty writing regularly, but he discovered a simple method that helped him stick to it. Method: Seinfeld bought a large annual calendar and hung it on the wall. He set a rule for himself. Every day he wrote even one sentence, he would mark the calendar with a. The goal was not to write a great text every day, but just not to break the streak. Results: he continued to write every day for more than 200 consecutive days. He generated many ideas and jokes that helped him build his successful career. The habit of writing became part of his daily routine without the need for constant motivation. Lessons learned: tracking daily habits helps to solidify them and turn them into part of your identity. It is easier to maintain a habit if you can see your progress visually. Don't break the chain is a powerful principle that helps to continue good habits. Conclusion: small habits make a big difference. These 3 stories prove that habits are not just actions we do, but rather a lifestyle system that leads to success or failure. Whether you are an athlete, a doctor, a writer, or anyone who wants to improve yourself, small changes that seem insignificant today can be the reason for huge achievements in the future. How can you benefit? 1. Start with very small changes, 1% in your daily life. 2. Continue with them for a long time without interruption. 3. Monitor your progress and make sure you do not break the habit. 4. Improve your environment to help you implement good habits easily. 5. Don't expect quick results. Accumulation is key. If you stick to these principles, you may one day find yourself achieving a success you never imagined. Just like the heroes of these stories,